Hello. Hello. Cool. Get ready.
Hey, Brendan, am I clear?
Yes, just watch out for the wires.
No, but you are queer.
Down, I'm gonna face towards you during this podcast like this aggressively.
Challenge me.
Challenge me.
Forward expanding
You
in
fool.
Settlers, Civ, and podcasting.
Welcome to the Grand Sessions
Oh, we
Fantasy
live?
Football Podcast.
Oh, this is so much more fire. Oh my.
This is our third week, and we wanted to do this last night, but we were busy. So we're going to talk about transaction trends and how we feel if you should put them in. Maybe we'll talk about who we think you should put them in over. Starting off, should we just name ourselves again? Chance.
Rendon.
It's Fishered again.
Kevin.
And all right, let's just go right into it. We're gonna start off with quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
transaction trends. The number one, this is on Yahoo Fantasy Sports. The number one added quarterback is Daniel Jones.
He put on a great show this past weekend. First start. I think they actually nailed this pick. I think the Giants got a lot of flack for it, but I think they nailed this one.
They did get a lot of flack.
So I'm pretty sure he had over 300.
So the stat
Yards
line
passing,
was 23 of 36 for 336 and 2 touchdowns. He also carried it for 4 times for 28 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Total of 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 passing. However, I did not watch the game. I did not get a good eye test of this guy. What do you guys think?
Kevin.
I mean, he looked good. Do I think he's a top 12 quarterback? No. But I think he's good. He played really well. It was against Tampa Bay. I think he plays Washington next week, who's just been getting obliterated by everyone. Right? Yeah, he plays Washington next week. And even Mitch Trubisky looked good against Washington. So I'd definitely pick him up and play him then. But his schedule does get pretty rough towards the end of the season. Right? I mean, he has Chicago, then Green Bay. But he has Philadelphia. I guess the last 3 weeks are pretty nice. But
Still, I'm afraid of him playing against Dallas, that bye week, and then Chicago. It just looks like at that point in the season, he's going to be your QB 2-3, and you might be looking to make a late season push or a late season stash. And Daniel Jones just isn't going to be there on your roster at the end of the season unless he lights it up.
yeah, he has Minnesota and New England right after Washington. So
One thing that's pretty underrated about him is his ability to run. He's arguably one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league right now. He actually had 2 rushing touchdowns this past week, which was relatively impressive. So something to keep an eye on.
I like him. I'd stash him. 2 quarterback leagues, I'd play him. 1 quarterback league, I'd definitely stash. If let's say you have Jameis Winston Wait. or
Between Jameis and him.
Or if you
Jameis
drop,
looked pretty good this past weekend, but who was he playing against again? Do you remember?
the Giants.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. They were playing against each other.
I want to point out that he was sacked 5 times, he fumbled twice, and he lost 2 fumbles.
This is who?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. That's probably partially due to the offensive line the Giants have, right? Aren't they pretty terrible?
well, they are, but he fumbles a lot and very easily, especially when he goes out on his runs. He fumbles a lot, and he's always done it in college too. So
Something to look out for.
I tailor my expectations on Daniel Jones. I give him an official rating of 2 stars out of a potential 10.
2 out of 10.
Dang, that's
rough.
In terms of
That's
just picking
low.
him up, I just wouldn't pick him up. I think you have better options.
Yeah.
I'd pick him up and play him in the short term, but once he hits the New England and
once
the
people
next
figure him out a
couple-
little bit.
Minnesota and the New England, I'd drop him. I'd pick him up for 1 week and play him.
Yeah.
Pick him up because Jimmy G's on a bye,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna drop Jimmy G. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, that's what we feel about Daniel Jones. I mean, I think he's decent. I think he's a decent stash. But let's move on to the next one.
Better than Eli.
Would you rather pick up Jacoby Brissett?
I like Jacoby, and I don't know if it's because the team just overall got better, and then Andrew Luck decided to retire. So it's kind of like he's got a dank line, from what I've heard, offensive line, and then obviously good players around him maybe just make him look better than he actually is. But he's been impressing at least.
Top 16 QB ROS.
Top 16.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. I always thought he was one of the better backups in the league, and to finally get a shot with a solid offensive line, a good running back, and a very solid wide receiver. I think he's in a good spot right now, and I agree with Fish. Top 16, I'd pick him up. I'd pick him up over Daniel Jones for the long term. I'd pick up Daniel Jones if I just want to win next week.
Well, Jacoby Brissett is playing Oakland, and then after that, Kansas City.
Yeah, exactly. I'd pick him up in the long term. He does have some soft matchups, but I mean, Daniel Jones against Washington, everyone's torched Washington this year. I think every quarterback that's faced Washington has had 4 touchdowns or something ridiculous like that. So I'd go with Daniel Jones if I'm trying to win next week.
All right. One more quarterback. We're going to move on to Kyle Allen.
So
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's Carolina, right?
Yeah, it's Carolina.
So Carolina seems to have some pretty solid wide receivers. Apparently, he likes to throw deep. So a guy like Samuel is probably a good option if you're going to be playing wide receivers. But he's got some solid wide receivers and Moore and Samuel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
that
think
could,
Kyle,
help him.
for sure. I think Kyle Allen being in really helps the receivers out a lot. He threw 4 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore definitely get a boost.
Yeah, keep in mind that it was against Arizona.
Very true.
So
There's always an asterisk when someone's playing Arizona or Washington or.
Although the rest of the season, I see a lot of startable weeks, maybe outside of a few. He's got some soft defenses coming up. I like Houston. I like him playing Tampa Bay. He's got a rough stretch until around week 11 where he has Atlanta, New Orleans, Washington, and then Atlanta again. So that's a good final end of the season stretch to have a QB who's might be low value right now. You're going to have to stash him for a while.
Yeah.
One more thing, a different thing that I was wondering if we talk about is because we keep talking about Washington and just how fucking god awful they are. Should we start looking at Dwayne Haskins a little bit? It's because Case Keenum is not great.
Yeah, but
Or is that more of a deeper stash if you're.
that's pretty deep.
16-team leagues, I'd definitely look out for it right now. You're on the money.
Yeah.
I mean, Case Keenum hasn't looked bad. I mean, it's not his fault. Their defense kind of
The team
sucks.
sucks.
He's been putting up points. He's been looking okay. I mean, he's been connecting with Scary Terry. So I mean, he's
He's
not.
been throwing a lot.
Yeah,
Because
he's not.
Keenum
he's not ass.
is playing hurt right now, so I don't know.
Case Keenum has thrown 380, 220, and 332 yards. So that's 933 yards in 3 games.
It's better than Andy Dalton.
Let's see. Andy
I don't
Dalton
know if it is, but-
has, no, Andy Dalton has 978 yards.
How much does Keenum have?
I think it was 930 something.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah. So
I think rest of season, Andy Dalton
Well,
is
half
good.
of Andy Dalton's yards came from one game, so I just want to put that out before Fish says anything.
418, 311, 249.
What's that?
That was Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has Pittsburgh, Arizona, Baltimore, Jacksonville, the Rams before the bye. So those Pittsburgh and Arizona, yeah. Baltimore, Jackson, and Rams. I don't think so.
The Bengals may go longer than the Dolphins without a W.
I have no idea what you just said.
The Bengals may go longer than the Dolphins without a W.
Want to talk about running backs?
I was going to go wide receivers.
Oh, wide receivers. Sorry.
Yeah. Number 1 on the ads is DJ Chark.
Chark looks nice.
DJ Chark.
He's the go-to guy.
Yeah. I think he's the number 1 receiver in Jacksonville. Not really a big thing, but he does have a touchdown in every game this year.
D.D. Westbrook looks really trash. He is the only receiver I've seen that looks like he drops more than D.D. Westbrook is John Ross.
About Nelson Aguilar. Throw him in
Westbrook
there.
is Nelson
Yeah, Aguilar is also pretty bad. I mean, I just don't like drop just receivers without hands, and I think Chark is going to be the reliable guy going forward. Minshew looks like he wants to run a hurry-up offense as well, which means the wide receiver one typically gets a lot of looks. Look out for some bubble screens. I mean, Chark's going to be good. He's going to be the go-to guy going forward. If you have some free agent bidding money, I'd say go deep in Chark.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's. I like the crosshair, by the way. He's. Yeah, I like him a lot, especially the fact that D.D. Westbrook drops more than the bird after an all-you-can-eat seed buffet. Like he literally dropped, I think, 3.
That's my favorite
He
thing. I
dropped 3 out of 7 passes or targets, right? Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd rather.
He literally when we were watching the game, I was like, "Yep, Gardner Minshew, more point. Nope, there's another drop pass. Oh, dope! I have Gardner Minshew. Another drop touchdown pass for D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah,
So it's pretty frustrating having D.D. Westbrook. I'm sure it's frustrating for Gardner Minshew.
very true.
Probably looking a little more at D.D. Chark.
TD Shark.
The only
TD
thing
Shark.
is we're worried about is next week he plays in Denver. And their number one cornerback has been very good against number one receivers. He held Devontae Adams to like 40 yards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also with Adams, Rodgers already admitted not targeting him enough, and I think,
On purpose.
yeah, on purpose. So, I don't know. I just don't think he was targeted enough. I think if they threw it to him more, he'd have a lot better stat line. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think he just like getting shut out. I think Rodgers just wasn't looking his way for different reasons.
I feel like
Rodgers is a veteran quarterback, so he's not going to force the ball towards his number one receiver.
Well,
But Minshew definitely will.
he wants to. I feel like he wants to target Adams, but the way the offense is running is
Yeah.
they get the lead and they say, let's just run
Yeah, I
with
agree
Jamal
you.
Williams,
yeah.
not Adam Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look at Jacksonville's offense, they're forced to give it to Chark. Minshew needs someone reliable. and
Yeah, I
this
really
is
like
gonna be
Chark.
his guy.
If he's not picked up in your league, grab him as fast as possible.
They're playing who next week?
Denver in Denver.
Denver, and Denver's defense has been pretty god awful. They haven't had a single turnover this whole entire year. They had
Well,
Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. Only reason I know is because I had their defense, and not a single turnover, not one.
Very true, but
So
I mean, they've been holding receivers and
they
quarterbacks,
hold
so-
receivers down pretty well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they just haven't been getting sacks and picks, but they've been.
right.
Their number one
Stopping 'em.
cornerback is legit, and he's probably gonna be shadowing DJ Chark.
Yeah.
And what's his face? Julian Edelman is hurting his chest.
Ribs. Yeah.
Josh Gordon is hurting everywhere. How do you feel
Dislocated
about
finger, right?
Philip Dorsett?
Yeah, Dorsett's nice. He's talented. He's got decent hands. He's got decent moves. He can route run pretty decently. He fits into the Tom Brady scheme, so the ball will land in his hands when it needs to land in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Kevin? Because I
Uh,
don't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pick him up and play him this week if Gordon and Edelman aren't in, obviously.
I think Gordon's gonna play
Yeah,
for
that's
sure, but
someone,
Edelman's
but-
the one that's questionable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Gordon
mean,
will
I
play.
think I just think Dorsett's more touchdown dependent. I think he probably will get a touchdown, but he's very touchdown dependent. And I don't really like playing touchdown dependent guys unless I really have to.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of targets. His first game, 4 targets. Next game, 3. And then the last one was 7. But I think that's because Julian Edelman was out. So if Julian Edelman is out,
The
Would you
week
flex
that
him?
he has only 3 targets as well. He only played in 49% of the snaps. That number's for sure going to be around 90 to 100% in this upcoming week.
Mhm.
And the following week he plays Washington, and we've already talked about how shat Washington's defense is. I think for the next 2 weeks he's a decent play.
I mean, but still, if you
Buffalo's
look at it,
defense
he
is
got
pretty good.
7
So-
targets, 6 receptions, and only 53 yards. So, I mean, even if he does get the targets and receptions, I mean, other than PPR,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's really worth it. Unless he gets that TD.
He's a happy 12-point start for me.
well, no, I'm saying is if he's gonna have a full game without Julian Edelman.
Yeah, if Julian Edelman doesn't play, then he's a
I
great
mean,
option.
didn't Edelman
but
go out pretty early against the Jets?
he'll come back.
I think
he'll
he's
be
gonna
back
play?
next week. Yeah, it didn't see. It looked not too aggressive of a rib injury, but he did get the shit knocked out of him. I think he'll be back either next week or in 2 weeks. It seems to be just a contusion, and if anything, it's likely going to be one of those injuries where it's just something that he has to painfully play through rather than be a setback and risking further injury.
So I guess the Athletic is saying that there is some skepticism that he'll be available. Edelman will be available for Sunday's game, but he's known through playing through injury. So who knows? Regardless, I think it's a solid pickup.
I think it's a good
regardless,
stash.
You might as well, especially if you're struggling in the wide receiver area.
Yeah.
Especially if your name's Rendon.
Especially if you're Fishy G.
Especially if you love
Yeah, who's
people.
Should I use my number 2 waiver claim on him though?
MVS.
Moving on to the next one.
Probably wouldn't.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Cancel this.
I like him a lot. He's the clear number
Let's
2.
go back to
And
him.
although Rodgers hasn't been being his typical Rodgers this year, the fact that he is targeting MVS, I think, is promising.
What do you think about MVS?
Something I've always felt about him. He's a risky play. I don't feel comfortable starting him unless you think you need if he's the final plug-in and you need a big numbies game, you go for him. But if you need consistent 12 points, I'd rather start a Pettis not Pettis. Even
Debo
Pettis.
Samuel.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're playing Philadelphia, who's pretty terrible when it comes to
Yeah, everybody's saying this week is the week that Rodgers was gonna
go off.
become Rodgers again, but we'll see. Rodgers hasn't been doing that well. Sterling Shepard is a huge pick, obviously, because of what happened last week and because he's like the number 1 receiver for Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm. Him and Ingram.
Yeah. Do you think Sterling Shepard's going to be great the rest of the year? Do you think he's going to be, let's say, top 20 receiver?
I don't think top 20 receiver, but it all really just depends on Daniel Jones. If it's just like a one-time thing and then defense figure him out, Sterling Shepard's kind of screwed because I wouldn't know, but isn't Evan Ingram kind of more of an option than Sterling Shepard?
Yeah,
He
of course.
is.
But
Or not really?
who would you rather own, though? Sterling Shepard or Golden Tate?
Ooh,
Kevin.
that's right.
I'd much rather own Sterling Shepard. I mean, he's their best receiver. They paid him out for a reason. I think Daniel Jones is going to target him. He has to target someone. He can't target Saquon Barkley anymore. So the ball's going to have to go somewhere. It's either going to go to Ingram, Shepard, or Tate. And my 2 that I would focus on are Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. I think Tate still does eat. I think he'll be a good PPR option. But in standard, I'd much rather go with Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. I think they're going to be the ones getting the touchdowns, the long runs, the big gains.
I agree with you.
Nice.
What do we think about Taylor Gabriel?
One-time thing. I don't think it's going to happen every week.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
I like him. I think he's a good player.
Even with Mitch
He
as
is a
his
good player,
quarterback?
but he's
no,
Mitch.
I hate
yeah,
Mitch
Trubisky's
Trubisky.
his quarterback, so
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch is the fucking worst. And look, he looked really good against Washington. So
But it's Washington.
Daniel Jones is going to be good next week. So is all your Giants players.
yeah, roster the Giants.
Mhm.
Let's move on to running backs. Obviously, number 1 running back that's been added is Wayne Gallman Jr. How do you feel about Wayne Gallman Jr. for the next 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Does not pass the eye test. At least from the runs that I watched of him.
He's
That's
definitely going to go for a
the only
lot
thing I watched of the
because
Giants.
someone. Oh, sorry. I definitely interrupted you.
You're good.
What was I going to say? I feel like someone's definitely going to put a lot down.
If
for
you're the
this guy,
Saquon
you
Barkley
know?
owner, how much fab are you spending on him?
I am a Barkley owner.
Yeah. I feel- yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
not going to tell you guys how much I'm going to put on him. But I think I don't even want to talk about Gallman because you guys are gonna all bid me up and shit.
I think we should exclude Calvin from this. But I mean,
I think Gallman's a decent runner. Everybody's saying he's the worst.
I don't
Everyone's
think
like,
he's the
Jesus,
worst.
He's
He's
so
not
bad,
Terrible.
but he's not that bad. When he played those, I forgot. I think it was like 6 games. He got at least 10 points in half PPR.
don't look impressed.
He's no Saquon.
Yeah, he's definitely
I've never seen him.
He's
so I
not the
couldn't say.
playmaker like Saquon is, but he's a runner.
Can he
He's a running back.
get past the fact that the Giants have no O-line?
I think he
I
can catch
mean-
enough.
That's a good point.
Is he
Can he
known
catch?
for receiving.
I think
at
he's
all?
a decent receiving back. Not like no Saquon, but
Well,
Yeah,
but their
not
offensive line is really bad, so to buy time, they're definitely going to be running some halfback screens. That's why Saquon was getting so many halfback screens last year, because to buy some time from the D line, giving pressure to the quarterback, you got to
Mhm.
run some halfback screens.
My only concern is that I don't know anything about him, but I did watch the game on Sunday. They played Sunday, right?
yes.
And I'm just concerned that he's just going to be a guy who gets like, do you really want to spend like 30% of your fantasy money on a guy who's going to get like
I don't think
two and
anyone's
a half
planning on that.
yards per carry? You'd be surprised.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've seen some people on it's Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt, but are spending like $50 on this guy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But granted, it's Reddit, so who knows?
Yeah, don't expect RB1 numbers from this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd spend
That's
like
what I'm
I
not.
spend well. I put up $13 in my family league.
Mhm.
He went for how much, Kevin?
38.
$38.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
was planning on bidding $10, and if I got him, I'd be okay about it. If I didn't get him, I was. Gonna
Yeah,
be
I
okay.
wasn't too worried about it. He's gonna be a good flex.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be Saquon.
I agree.
Damn,
with
you
that.
guys only spent 10. I'm bidding $21 right now.
22.
Yeah, that's why I put 23. We'll move on to the next.
Wait.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No.
This is a Kansas City running back, and anybody playing on Kansas City, this is Darrell Williams, who still did decent, even when LaShawn McCoy went off and came out with an ankle injury. Damian Williams isn't practicing this week. They expect him to be out. Sean McCoy still has an ankle injury. Are you
So-
willing to, pick up Darrell Williams?
Yes, because he's a Kansas City running back.
All right.
Although, all I want to say is I'm so angry because I held on to Darwin Thompson since I drafted him. In case something like this happened.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, like, 2 hours before the game, I get a notification. Oh, Darrell Williams is going to be the starter. What? Are you serious?
yeah. Guess
So, yeah,
guess who started that game?
I'm
though?
dropping him now. Huh?
Guess who started that game?
I don't know who.
McCoy.
Oh, yeah. McCoy.
Yeah. So don't listen to these beat writers
Exactly,
who think they know
yeah.
what they're talking about. All right. But yeah, Damian Williams is probably the best running back in that backfield. But Andy Reid already said, not Darrell. Sorry. Who was I thinking of? The rookie, Darwin Thompson. He's the best running back in that backfield. But Andy Reid already said that he doesn't want to do that to him. He's not going to throw him out there. He wants to learn how to pass protect. He wants to learn how to, first pass protect. That's what he wants. This is Andy Reid. This is what he does.
Especially when Mahomes
He's known
is
for
your...
this.
Yeah.
He wants LaShawn McCoy to play out this year, basically run out the tread on the tires.
Yeah.
And prepare Darwin Thompson for next year.
Exactly.
And that's the plan. I think Darrell Williams is just the plug the hole right now if it's necessary.
If
type
McCoy's
deal.
down, Darrell Williams, yes.
For
he's
as
in.
long as that is live, then yeah.
Yeah, I think you might get 2 weeks out of him, and then
Yeah.
at very best, you're in a three-way committee.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think that's going to happen. I think he's just going to be phased out.
This is going to be Damian and McCoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, at best, you'll get 2 good weeks out of this guy, but I wouldn't spend more than like $5 on him.
He's a good plug and play if McCoy's down or if McCoy's still hurting before
Yeah,
the
I
game.
mean,
I'd still play him because he still did decent. He still got 10.9 points.
Yeah, that's because McCoy went down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if McCoy's hurt coming into the game, he's probably going to go down again because he's old.
I don't know if I'd want to risk that, though.
I mean, I wouldn't put any fab on him. I put $1.
No, but would you would play him even if McCoy's still playing? I don't know if I'd
Yeah,
risk
I'd play
that.
any Kansas City, player I got.
Not if McCoy's in there.
I'm
'cause
playing McCoy
took the
and
most
Nicole
of it.
Hardman.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
I'd play
get production out of him.
McCoy, but if McCoy's in there, I don't think I'm going to play Darrell.
I
Just
agree.
Just because it's like he didn't do anything until McCoy got there, then all of a sudden he went off.
That's a good point. Who's the next guy?
Rex Burkhead. Sonny Michelle hasn't been doing well at all. Rex Burkhead looked really good, but James White was gone. His wife had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, James White will be back next game. They're playing at Buffalo. Rex Burkhead is probably the best running back in that backfield.
He's a very talented pass catcher. He actually was our wide receiver 1 for a playoff game. I believe it was against the Colts. That is when he played for the Bengals. Very talented. Yeah, I think he's great with Brady. He's got a good rapport with him already. I think that if he's going to be getting touches, he's going to be getting points. The issue is that he's not going to be getting touches.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a good stash.
Yes, definitely a good stash.
So, you said he's a good pass catcher. So
Oh, yeah,
obviously
for sure.
James White is like the go-to pass catcher in that backfield. Is
Yeah.
that the only reason he played?
Well,
yeah.
Burkhead also
Yes.
likes to they like to have Burkhead in on some trick packages. So they'll do sometimes a run up the gut with Burkhead, and they'll also have James White, I believe, out running a wheel route. So they'll do some trick plays, just trying
sure.
to throw off the defense, and Burkhead's usually the beneficiary of them.
Right. Especially, I don't know. I just don't like Sony Michelle just because he's very one-dimensional.
Yeah, for
from what
sure.
I've seen. So, and I don't even know football that much, and all I know is Sony Michelle
Also,
doesn't do anything.
their
except just
fullback is out for the year.
run the ball. Who's
New
Pey-
England.
Oh, obviously, that's what we're talking about.
not know that.
So that means Sony Michelle's yards per carry was at 1. It's probably gonna go down to 0.5. Moving on, are you guys
Sony Michelle's pretty good.
stashing any Tampa Bay running backs? Ronald Jones or Peyton Barber?
Ronald Jones for sure. He's talented, man. I think I like this kid. I really like him.
I like him
Yeah.
too, but I don't like the situation.
Mhm.
It's like San Francisco. You know, it's Mostart. You got Jeff
Yeah.
Wilson. You got Breida. You
Yeah.
got Coleman.
Very good similarities.
Coleman's coming back, right?
Yeah, Coleman is coming back. Ronald Jones. It's between Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber. But the thing is, they don't have a running game in the first place, so
Yeah.
it's kind of just like.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
I'd
know.
stash for sure if
Yeah.
he for sure gets all the playing time and he's the one. Then yes, I'd play him.
Yeah.
But it's kinda
I
like-
stashed them, but I don't know. What do you think, Calvin?
Yeah, I think Peyton, not Peyton Barber. I think Ronald Jones is better than Peyton Barber, but I probably wouldn't stash him.
You wouldn't stash him? Just dump him?
No, yeah, I like going for the backups, you know, the get luckies rather
Mhm.
than stash someone who's just going to be mediocre all year.
Yeah. Is there anyone else we should probably talk about?
As a running back,
Or is that pretty much it?
there's like
We go over tight ends.
yeah, I was gonna go over. There's Chris Thompson, Jamal Williams, Tony Pollard,
Yeah.
I said we go to tight ends.
Frank Gore.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
Frank Gore. He should not be available in any league by now.
Yeah, he should for sure be picked up.
I don't know if Singletary comes back, he's just going to be mediocre again. But
Questionable. Let's talk about Greg Olson.
Greg Olson,
what's wrong with him?
he's doing very well.
Who are we talking about?
Greg Olson. 9 targets first game, 9 targets second game, 7 targets the third game. First game 36 yards, second game 110, and last game 75 and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. The only thing that scares me about Greg Olson is he does have a new quarterback, so he's going to have to build that whole rapport again. He's been getting wide open, though, from the games I've been seeing, which is great. But, again, it was against Arizona and Tampa Bay. I didn't get to see the Rams game, but he did get peppered, it looks like, by Cam. I'd just be scared now that he has a new quarterback. The only time this quarterback's been in the game is against Arizona, which tight ends are known to have a field day against him, which is why I'd probably pick up Will Dissly.
Will Dissly. Seattle just shipped their tight end to Pittsburgh, their backup. So that's just basically saying more about Will Dissly, who has been going up in targets every week. He started at 2 to 5 to 7. The second game he had 50 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the third game he had 62 yards and a touchdown. So he's been getting targeted in the red zone.
Plays Arizona next.
He does play Arizona next, so that's just a for sure plug and play.
He's even a flex option in my opinion.
Would you flex him if you had like?
I have Hooper, and I'm thinking about flexing him in.
Okay.
Yeah, Hooper is.
Who's Hooper going against?
For me, I think Hooper is a starter
Tennessee.
no matter what.
Tennessee? I'd probably start him against Tennessee. I don't know if Hooper's a starter no matter what.
I
think
really like
he watch
Hooper.
those games, but I don't know. Matt Ryan's just always been kind of iffy with Hooper.
Yeah,
What's
it's
nice is don't they have like a new maybe offensive coordinator or something like that? Atlanta.
Yeah.
So apparently everywhere he
No,
goes,
new head coach.
he's known
I
for
don't know.
kind of investing a lot in the tight ends and really making them involved in the offense. So
Yeah,
that's probably
but
why you
The new
maybe
Tampa Bay head coach is like known for making good running backs, and they fucking suck. So
True.
yeah.
So I mean, everyone likes to go like on a past head coaches thing, but I think head coaches come in and they take what they're given. I don't think
Yeah.
they just put in their whole new scheme right when they get there, unless they're Andy Reid.
So you don't think Austin Hooper's that good?
No, he's good. He's a good fucking player. I'd play him if I have to, but if it's like
Darren Waller or
would I
Austin
play him as a
Hooper?
Who? What?
Waller or Austin Hooper?
Oh, Waller all the way. I really like that kid. I think all of his plays come on designed routes to him. So every time he gets it, the whole play is designed to get yards after catch because that's where his strengths lie. Right?
Yeah.
So he's just phenomenal in terms of getting receiving it because it's short. So if you're in PPR, you automatically get some love there, and then you're going to get some nice yards after the catch because he's always going to have blockers downfield, or a one-on-one matchup where he can, shed at least the tackle for some yards. He's a big boy, and he's fast.
So who are they playing right now or this upcoming week?
Who?
We were just talking about. He's playing against Arizona. Who is that?
Will Disley.
Disley. So I guess Arizona's the past 3 weeks have played terribly against tight ends, like absolutely atrocious. They've given. Okay, so week 1, they played Hawkinson, who had 131 yards and a touchdown, and which is 22 points fantasy, half PPR. Then after that, they played Baltimore, who obviously my guy Mark Andrews that day had 112 yards and a touchdown. And after that, they played Greg Olsen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who had, if I can pull it up, what we just said, Greg Olsen. Oh, god damn it, I typed in Olden again. Greg Olsen had 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I don't know, just something to think about, the fact that against all tight ends, pretty god-awful.
For sure, plug and play. Kevin, who would you start? Eric Ebron versus Oakland or Austin Hooper versus Tennessee?
Austin Hooper.
Even though T.Y.'s going to be out.
They don't know that yet. It's not for sure. Even if T.Y. is out, I'd probably still go with Hooper. I mean, Brissett kind of distributes it evenly between him and Doyle. I mean, they still got Paris Campbell. They still got Marlon Mack. So, yeah, I'd still go with Austin Hooper. He's been doing good. I'd probably keep it with him.
What about a safe tight end play? Jason Witten. How do you guys feel about Jason Witten?
I don't really know enough about Witten, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Witten's always good. I think no matter what, he's going to be getting a TD at least every other week for the rest of the season. Dak and him have a great rapport, and he always finds the open seam.
It's a lot of TDs.
A floor of 5.14 so far and a ceiling of 8.5. This is standard. So you're getting 4 targets a game. You're targeted in the red zone. I mean, it's a decent. If you have nothing left, let's say you're in a 32-team league, I'd definitely pick him up.
Yeah, in that situation.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? That's pretty much all we did. Quarterback, receivers, running backs, and tight ends. Anybody else that's on your eye that you're thinking about?
Did we talk about Vernon Davis at all?
Overall strategy, I'd say save your money this week. I don't think there are many players worth bidding on.
Vernon Davis, we haven't talked about.
Is he worth a look or no?
Not recently. I mean, Jordan Reed has been out and he hasn't really done much.
Mm-hmm. I noticed he's one of
He's playing the Giants, though.
Ooh. That's interesting. Do you guys pretty much play anyone that's playing against the Giants or the Cardinals or whoever else is pretty terrible?
Miami Redskins.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on the situation. Depends on the size of the chair rented.
Depends on the flock of the birds.
But yeah, I'd be more inclined to play against
Have you ever noticed
those
that
kind of defenses.
Bulldogs are always in push-up position? always.
Isn't every dog?
Isn't every dog?
And that's this week's podcast.
Woo! All right.
Should we have talked about whatever.
Cool. All right. That was a good podcast, guys.
Should we talk about? Whatever. We should always end it with that.
Whatever. We'll save it for next time.
That was fun.
I want to say defense, but
I feel like